Hi, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. And we have a young lady here that's dedicated her life to Prince George County. She has been out there fighting for the political system that we have now. You know, it wasn't like this. When she came in, it was rough. And now I want you to meet Senator Joanne Benson. I mean, she's #1, and she has given her life basically to Prince George County. And I'm so happy to have her here. And we have some topics here that you don't want to go away now. You'll miss it. Welcome, Joanne.
Thank you very much. I'm just very glad to be here, and I want to thank you for allowing me this wonderful opportunity to be on this show.
Great. We had an agenda there. Let's get into it. We don't have much time.
Well, as we look at Prince George's County, it seems to me that there are four things that we need to focus in on. One has to be the education of our children. The second has to deal with economic development. The third is public safety. And the fourth is transportation. I think that those are four areas that we need to focus heavily on. I want to first talk about the school system. As many people know, I am an educator by profession. I spent 40 years of my life in the Prince George's County Public Schools. I served in just about every capacity you could imagine. So it is very, very appropriate for me to list that as one of my top priorities. I feel very strongly that if we don't educate our children, we don't have to worry about a future in Prince George's County because there won't be one. We have to be sure that parents understand their role as it pertains to the education of our children.
Say that real loud.
We cannot send children to school without going with them. We can't expect the schools to do everything. So parents have to invest in the education of their children. And by that, I don't mean just going into the school, but also ensuring that when the children get home, that they follow up on what was taught in the classroom during the course of that one day. So I am very concerned that also that we pay the teachers, pay the administrators, pay the people who are in our school system an adequate salary so that they will not leave this school system and go to another county where they pay more money. The per pupil spending in Prince George's County is the lowest in the metropolitan area. So if we in Prince George's County have to understand the importance of a revenue stream to ensure that we keep up to par and that we make it so that people understand that we're serious about the education of our children.
Good. Okay, now tell us a little bit about your next subject there.
Economic development. If you look, we have about 17 metro stations in Prince George's County. And if you look at the metro stations, you will note that there's only one in Prince George's County that has economic development around it. The trend is to build around metro stations now. We need to have apartment complexes. We also need to have stores. We need to have it so that people will not have to travel all over the place because people are now concerned about walking and being close to shopping close to where they live. And so the economic development piece is very important. I was very delighted and excited that our visionary county executive saw fit to set aside $50 million just for that purpose. Because he understands that economic development is the driving force for the prosperity of Prince George's County. But in addition to that, we need to be sure that the school system, the education of our children, matches the economic.
Stay on par.
Absolutely.
That's it.
If we do not educate our children, if we don't raise that bar, the economic development will not occur. It all works hand in glove. You know, the same way with transportation, the same way with public safety. Two of the most important forces in Prince George's County for the prosperity of this county are how safe are your communities and how good are your schools. And so I am very, very excited about the fact that we are looking to these four areas. The county council is concerned about it. All of us are working. It's the most wonderful thing that all of us see it as something that we need to do in the way of working for the good of this county.
Okay, what's your next subject?
Well, now you know that we have coming down the pike a lot of initiatives that will be on our November ballot. One has to do with the presidential election. I know who I'm going to be supporting, and I'm working very strongly for the president that's currently on board in the White House. I think that he has done a marvelous job. But more importantly, I just think we need to educate every single person who is eligible to vote in Prince George's County. We need to educate them on the urgency of them going to the polls to vote.
Say it again.
We cannot effectuate change in America if those of us who are eligible to vote sit home. Mm-hmm. There are too many people that have risked their lives, people whose shoulders we stand on, that have risked their lives to ensure that every single soul who is able to vote in America has that opportunity. Now, I know the voter suppression is also a problem, but absolutely it is not going to be a problem in the state of Maryland, because we made a decision that we were not going to allow anything or anybody to stand in the way of our people having the opportunity to vote. We're not interested in moving backward.
Right.
We want to move forward. And the way to do that is to be sure that people do not have an excuse for not going to the polls.
Right.
And one of the other items that is coming down the pike, and I'm sure you're aware of it, has to do with the future of the casinos in Prince George's County. There are two sides to the story. The first side has to do with the fact that we in Prince George's County have to come up with a revenue stream. A revenue stream that is mainly geared to the education of our children. People say to me, Senator Benson, if we decide to vote for the casinos, what guarantee do we have that the money from the casinos will go to education? I want to assure everyone who is hearing me this day that we as educators, we as elected officials are being very vigilant and mindful of the fact that if we say that the money should go towards the education of our children, that's exactly where it needs to go. And we are very, very committed to the county council, the county executive, and all of us putting language in place that will ensure that that will happen.
That happens. That's very important, because that's a sensitive thing, and the people are being bombarded by different ads and things of that nature. What they need to do is go do some of their homework themselves.
Absolutely.
You know, go out and do it, because what are you talking about? Your program managed news that you're getting on now, and you got to get away from that. You got to do some homework yourself.
Absolutely. And we have to understand that a lot of it is coming from owners of these casinos that are not here in the state of Maryland.
Don't live here, just making money here.
Absolutely.
Right.
And they do not want to lose their revenue.
Naturally. The percentage is out, you know, people are talking about that, you know, too, you know, is what percentage is going to education and things of that nature. Now, another subject which we had, we're going to talk about is, I thought it was very good that we had one of our technicians talk about prior to you coming, and God is good, you know, and we want to talk about the people that make this country, that made this country, being scammed, the senior citizen. You're working down there. Tell us about it.
Let me tell you this much.
It's sad.
There are two groups of people that are near and dear to my heart. The first are the children. The second are our senior citizens and retired people. I think that when people retire, when we have senior citizens, they shouldn't have a lot to worry about. I have established what is called the 202 Coalition. It has been operating for about 17 years. And one of the reasons why we decided to organize the 202 Coalition was to be sure that the needs of the senior citizens in my district, in the 24th district, and now, of course, it has extended to the 47th, the 26th, and the 25th district, will have an opportunity to vent and to tell us what their problems are. What we're finding, and I just left a meeting where we talked about what is happening to our senior citizens. We have individuals that are being scammed by foreclosures. There are people who are looking at homes that are owned by senior citizens that are paid for. And if they are having some problems with their taxes, or they're having issues, they are now having the audacity to even visit their homes. If there's an individual who passes away and there's a widow that's left, they visit these widows, and they, at their weakest moment, they have them to sign on to agreements. We're working right now on a case where a lady owes only $6,000. And there was an individual who came to her home and said, listen, I will pay the $6,000.
Providing you sign your house over.
Absolutely. And or if you don't, if you don't pay back this money on X day,
Right.
then the house comes to me.
Right.
And we've got to be sure, and I say to the elected officials and to everybody in these agencies, that we have to do a better job of educating our little senior citizens, going to the doctors, getting, that those are the kinds of things that I am very, very concerned about. There are a lot of scam artists around here and they're becoming more prevalent
Right.
as we go along. I'm talking to people who are senior citizens, the persons who are disabled. I talk to them on a weekly basis. We have to do a better job. I'm looking at some legislation that is going to be put in place that will give further and stronger protection to our senior citizens, because when you get to be a certain age, you don't think as quickly.
No,
And
they take advantage of it. Right.
Absolutely. And
Right.
we just cannot continue to allow this to happen.
Yeah.
If
And-
we truly care about the population of people who have caused us to be what we are today.
Yeah. And there's another scam that's going around now is with the title of your car. They give the people a loan, and if they don't, they bring the title on the car, then they actually take the car. There's so many things that people don't realize, is that the senior citizen and the regular citizen, they have to really be on the alert.
That's exactly
because
right.
make sure that you have someone else check with a senior citizen. May not be your mother or father, but they need help. They really need help.
They need somebody that they have confidence in.
That they can trust.
Right. I'd like to give you an example. We on several months ago on a Friday, a little lady called me, and she had someone to bring her to my home. The person really brought her to my home because he was concerned about a loan that she had taken out. She had taken out a loan because she was told that there was a bill that she had to pay. And the only way that she could really get the bill paid was she had to go to get a loan.
Okay.
She went and got a loan. She got the loan for $2,500. The interest rate was 28%.
28%, right? Well, you've heard it here from the senator, and we'll be right back here. But Senator Benson is showing you the things that are really happening in Prince George County, and actually, she has been from the beginning. I'm talking about from the 70s. She didn't just jump out there. She has paid her dues, and she's continually want to help the people of Prince George County. We'll be back in a second. Hey, welcome back to the Ed Brown Show. And we have Senator Joanne Benson here, who has really paid her dues since the 70s. Continue with that about the senior citizens. How can we educate them? Some of the ways that people get involved.
Well, here's what I think. At one point in time in our community, there were two institutions that did a very creditable job of keeping people informed. And one was the church, of course, and the schools. The schools have changed their focus relative to educating people about issues that we are talking about today. Our senior citizens, we now must depend on our churches, our sororities, our fraternities, our civic organizations, our homeowners organizations, our community activists, county agencies. Everybody has to play a role. The county agency cannot just do it alone. We have to be sure that all of these sororities, all of these organizations that I have just mentioned, understand their role in working with our seniors. Because this issue of scams is real. It is very real. Taking advantage of these little people is real. I see it and I hear about it on a daily basis. Our office is working nonstop to ensure that the seniors are taken care of, but it's after they've gotten into trouble. And so we need to do a better job of educating our senior citizens, even if it means going to their homes, whatever we have to do. And what we're finding is very interesting, is that people are living longer in Prince George's County. We have senior citizens that are 100 years old. I met one several months ago that's still driving a car.
Right.
And so they're living longer, and it has to do with their understanding the importance of being healthy, eating the right foods, and doing the right things. So they're living longer. And so we've got to do a better job. The other thing that I am deeply concerned about is the issue of health.
Oh, yes.
I am very
everybody needs that.
Absolutely. I am very excited and delighted that we now have an opportunity for our senior citizens to have access to health care, and that includes the children. We were the first state in the country to pass legislation that will ensure that Medicaid and Medicare are available. Medicare is available, or insurance is available to all of our children in the state of Maryland. I think that is an excellent thing. And so this year we turned around to put legislation in to ensure that our adults have access to health care. And that brings up the Prince George's Hospital.
Right.
The Prince George's Hospital.
Tell us about it.
Has been key to ensuring that all of our citizens have access to health care. Now, you must understand that the Prince George's Hospital is owned by the county. It is the only hospital system, the Dimensions is the only hospital system that is owned by the citizens. And so when I
didn't know that.
when people go to, we are the only hospital system in the state that's owned by the citizens. So when individuals go to the Laurel Hospital, to Prince George's Hospital, they're not turned away. And that is one of the reasons why we have problems with the finances of the Prince George's Hospital, because a lot of people go there and they use the hospital's emergency room as their primary care provider. With the kind of insurance that's being offered now, they can go to other hospitals and use that insurance. And so that is really wonderful. One of the reasons why I fought so hard for the Prince George's Hospital, because I know how important it is, because the hospital system itself services 180,000 people.
Wow.
And the numbers are going up.
Quite a bit.
And so we need that hospital. And they have over 2,400 employees. So we need that hospital. And they have got the most wonderful doctors in the country working there. When people fly into shock trauma, the survival rate for the persons flying into shock trauma is among the highest in the country.
Is that right?
And people don't talk about that.
Right.
With the merger of the University of Maryland hospital system now with Dimensions.
Yeah, well, tell us something about that. They're merging.
They are merging.
Tell us about the merger.
And the reason why it is wonderful is because the University of Maryland hospital system is a teaching hospital.
Great.
And prior to their merging with the Prince George's Hospital system was not eligible for federal funding. Because the University of Maryland is a teaching hospital and they are now merging with the Prince George's Hospital, it makes Dimensions and the hospital system eligible for the federal funds.
Fantastic. You know, a lot of people didn't realize that as far as funding is concerned.
It's very important. The state is giving Prince George's Hospital system $50 million.
Yeah, tell us about that. And $50 million that's coming from...
$15 million is coming from the governors or from the state, and $15 million is being contributed from the county executive's office. So they get $30 million a year to help with the expenses of the hospital. Now the hospital system itself is doing it's doing a better job. Not that it was doing a bad job before, but with this merger, it is the hospital right now is becoming one of the premier hospitals in the
Well,
metropolitan
well,
area.
that's always the case, and people don't understand it. When you get university teaching involved in a hospital, that raises the caliber of hospital and service that you get there.
Absolutely.
Because you have research, you have all of those things come in,
Absolutely.
and like you say, you're eligible for that federal money.
Absolutely.
That's the key.
That's right. That's right.
If you don't get that federal money, then that a lot of things that you can't do. But with the fact that it's going to be a teach, I thought that was the greatest thing that ever happened in Prince
yes,
George
it's
County.
excellent.
Is that fact that they're going to be a teaching, involved, because that opens positions, and youngsters can become doctors right here in the county.
Absolutely.
You see what I mean? And that is by becoming a teaching hospital, all auxiliary things that hospital needs, services that they need, they will come in Prince George County, and that would help develop what you're saying around the metro stations.
Absolutely. The thing of it is we needed to come up with a way to keep our people in Prince George's County. Heretofore, our people were leaving Prince George's County, going to hospitals outside of the county.
Very true.
And with this merging of the University of Maryland Hospital system with Prince George's, it is going to be more attractive for people who want to stay here.
Right.
For people to go outside of the county, subjecting families to have to travel by car is so unacceptable. So that is really wonderful for the citizens of Prince George's County.
Well, what about the structure itself? Are they going to build additions, or just how is that going to come?
Yes, that's going to happen. As you know, if you go to Prince George's Hospital, you will see that it pretty much has outgrown
Yes.
its
Physical
the physical
site now.
The physical is not that they're not doing a good job in the hospital, but it's kind of outgrown its usefulness. That it needs to be upgraded.
Right.
Now we did bring money in to upgrade the emergency room and shock trauma center.
Okay.
But we need to upgrade the hospital. There is a need for a new hospital. It's going to happen. Now, bringing back to the casinos, they have indicated that some of the money coming from the casinos is going to be used to build the hospital.
Well, that's what a lot of people, the site itself, if you go by there, you're wondering, where are they going to expand? Or are they going to maintain the same site they have?
No.
Or just,
They're looking at another site in Prince George's
Great.
County. They're looking at several sites
Good.
in Prince George's County that is going to be agreeable and suitable for the building of a new hospital.
Oh.
But it's going to be new. It's not going to be an expansion.
Right.
It's going to be a new hospital. And they will probably take the facility that's up the hill and convert it into maybe a facility that deals specifically with the needs of senior citizens or disabled, but they will find a use for it.
Great, great. I wasn't familiar with the fact that they were going to build a new hospital.
Brand new one.
See, a lot of citizens don't realize you're going to have a new hospital. It won't be an expansion of the current hospital.
It's going to be very similar to what you see in Anne Arundel County.
I see.
So we need enough land in order for that to happen.
Well, Prince George County is one thing. We have the land.
Absolutely.
All we have to do is get the businesses in here.
As a matter of fact, if you look around Prince George's County, someone told me the other day about 51 to 52% of the land has not been developed.
Right. Exactly.
So it really opens the door for economic development. We've got to be sure, though, that we have the right kind of economic development. And I think that we have on board in the county administration right now with our county council. I am very, very pleased with the county council because they're working together. They are visionaries. We have a wonderful, wonderful county executive who is smart. Yes. And he's got good sense.
I've had him on the show, and I'm going to have the chairman of the council.
Absolutely.
Ms. Harrison. She will be coming on next week.
But
so we're trying to get these individuals together that are making decisions.
You have a county executive who has good sense. And he has the kind of sense that has promoted persons who work around him into these positions who are competent and capable, visionaries. They're all on basically the same page. And what's very exciting to me is that the county executive is working wonderfully well with the county council. Now, I am truly hoping that in the November election, that we now have on board a school board that are also visionaries.
Right.
Who understand.
Being an educator, you understand how important that is.
It is.
Very important. People don't understand that, you know.
And we've got to bring some stability to the top administrator, who happens to be the superintendent. We have got to do that. If you look at what is happening in our school system, the top administrator, which happens to be the superintendent, continues to change. And each time they change, there's a new focus. That's exactly right.
And the youngsters suffer.
Absolutely.
Really, that causes that. And people don't understand that. They think the matter of changing, you know, that's just, oh, well, they just changed the top. But it affects the youngsters, too.
It does, without a doubt. Because each superintendent who comes on board comes with his or her own program and agenda and priorities. And sometimes it really is not to the advantage of our children.
Of the children and the system. Okay, then, it's wonderful having you here. You want to give us some of the things you got enough doing things now, but what about the future that you have?
Well, I'm going to be going down to Annapolis. As a matter of fact, on yesterday, we sat down and talked about some legislative priorities. We have had a bill that we were very concerned about.
Now, tell us about it quickly.
Has to do with drug paraphernalia. Now in Prince George's County and in the state of Maryland, a youngster 11 years old can go into a store and buy drug paraphernalia.
Hey, that's terrible. Okay, you heard it here on the Ed Brown Show. Yeah, okay.
That we stopped them from buying cigarettes. I don't understand what the problem is with drug paraphernalia. That's just one bill. But we have several bills that are coming down the pipe.
Okay, you have to come back on the show. I tell you, you see how important it is for you to listen to and see the Ed Brown Show. We have important people like Senator Joanne Benson here. And what you want to do is get the youngsters and the seniors working together. We have a little shot called the Evolutionary Elders, where they work together. See you next time.